A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil. For of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaketh. I want to start off by saying, Ka'Allah Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, Waha Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil. Let's see what this word treasure breaks down to. Let's get the definition of that word. Treasure. All right.
Strong's G 2344. Thesaurus. Thesaurus.
Thesaurus, which means a place in which good and precious things are collected and laid up. A casket, coffer, or other receptacle in which valuables are kept. A treasury, a storehouse, a repository, magazine. The things laid up in a treasury, collected treasures. So you see, it's what you care for. It's what you heap up. A place in which good and precious things are collected. So when the scripture says, a good man out of the good treasure, right, of his heart bringeth forth that which is good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart. We're all storing up either good or evil in our hearts. And out of that treasure, we bring forth whatever it is, whatever is in us. Let's start back up in verse 43. For a good tree bringeth not forth, Salakia, corrupt fruit. Neither doth a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. For every tree is known by his own fruits. For of thorns men do not gather figs, nor of a bramble bush gather they grapes. That's right. Because you can't go to a thorn bush and get figs off of it. It don't work like that. Okay. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil. For of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaketh. That's right. Because whatever's down inside your heart is going to come out. Right? Let's get that in the book of Proverbs. Whatever's coming out of your heart is going to show what's in you. It's going to come out of your mouth. So it says, my son, attend unto my words, incline thine ear unto my sayings. This is Proverbs 4, Salakia, and 20. My son, attend unto my words, incline thine ear unto my sayings. Let them not depart from thine eyes, keep them in the midst of thy heart. You see? Because whatever's going in your eyes and in your ears is going down into your heart. Now we know the heart is the mind, la'ab in Hebrew. For they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. So again, whatever's inside your heart is coming out, and then those are going to be the issues in your life. So we know that a good man will attend, or a righteous man will attend to the words of the Father. And he's going to keep them before his eyes and get that down in his heart. But an evil man is not the way, not that same way. Let's look a little bit, start up a little bit. Okay. There it is in 13. It says, take fast hold of instruction and let her not go. Keep her, for she is thy life. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it. Turn from it, and pass away. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness, and drink the wine of violence. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble. That's right. Because they're not attending to the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And they're not keeping their heart with all diligence. Right? So, this is about seed and the condition of your heart. Like the first scripture we read went into how we went into that word treasure, right? And we're storing it up. We're storing up treasure. Let's look at Matthew the 13th chapter, because we know this is, the parable of the sower. Let's get down here to the point. Verse 18. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom, and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one, vocab Malone, Salakia, and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which received seed by the wayside. So this is the type of ground, or the type of heart that doesn't understand. And why don't they understand is because the Most High hasn't given them the understanding. This is only for the ones who have ear to hear, the righteous. But he that receiveth seed into stony places is the same that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth it. Yet hath he not root in himself, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended. So you see, this particular scripture right here, this heart, this ground, they endure for a while, right? But then when suffering comes, tribulation comes, they get offended, right? And that's the reason why the scripture talks about, I am the vine, ye are the branches. Matter of fact, let's get that in the book of John, the 15th chapter. Yeah. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth much more fruit. Right? So you purged if you do, and purged if you don't. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, no more can ye, except you abide in me. So when the word comes, and they endure for a little while, let's go back to Matthew. The stony places, right? The stony places, the same as he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth it. Yet hath he not root in himself, but dureth for a while. But when that tribulation or persecution comes, he don't stay connected to the vine. It's not in him. He gonna disconnect and do something shiesty. He gonna disconnect, and because of the persecution, he's not gonna be able to take it, and he's not gonna take the suffering. But we know the scripture talks about in the book of Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter, that sorrow is better than laughter. And by the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better. There goes that heart again, right? The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. So, that ground that hears the word endureth for a little while, but then when tribulation or persecution arise because of the word, he's offended, right? So he don't bear fruit. He also that receives seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful. Right? But he that receiveth seed into good ground is he that heareth the word, and understandeth it, which also beareth fruit, and bringeth fruit forth, some 100, some 60, and some 30. Right? So let's go back to the book of John, the 15th chapter, because I want to go back to that. He says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. Both types of branches are being maintained by the husbandman. And whatever you're collecting up in your heart, that's coming out in your life, right? So as we get the word, and we saw in Proverbs the 4th chapter, to attend unto the words, right? And out of your heart comes the issues of life. This is all these farming terms the Most High is using, because he says, in Genesis, that as long as the earth remains, seed, time, and harvest remain. We're in the hour now of harvest. This is the time, Everybody's reaping what they've sown. And, we sow out of our hearts. It's going to come right out of our hearts on whatever we're receiving. So, the suffering, both of them suffer. Both of them take, some purging. But some of them are purged because they don't have fruit. And the others are purged so they can bring forth more. Which one are you? Are you suffering for righteousness' sake? Or are you suffering for your own shortcomings and mistakes? I think we both, we do a little bit of both. Each of us do. But we got to be circumspect and guard our hearts with all diligence, and sit in front of his feet and get his word in order to have a good harvest in the end. To the people that are out there suffering for their own sakes. These are trees that cannot bring forth good fruit. These are ground that when the seed is sown, they don't understand it, or the cares of the world choke it out, and they disconnect from the vine and refuse to suffer for righteousness' sake and make their own way. If we come to serve the Lord, what does the scripture say? Let's get that right quick. I'm going to the Apocrypha right quick. It says in Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach, the 2nd chapter, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure. There it is, staying connected to the vine. And make not haste in a time of trouble. See, the wicked, they're not finna suffer for no righteousness' sake. They're going to take matters into their own hand. They're going to make haste. The scripture says in verse 3, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. And that's that purging. The Most High takes us through the fire, and he purges the dross out of us and purifies us. In the same manner that when we stay connected to him, the vine, we produce fruit, and he purges us so we can produce more. All right, let's read on. It says, believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall. And that's it. If you disconnect from the vine, you're going to be suffering for your own mistake. You're not going to be suffering for righteousness' sake. We should constantly endure, right? This is what this topic is about. It's whether or not you're suffering for righteousness' sake or for your own mistakes. But first and foremost, we had to go into that first part of this just so we can kind of see good fruit, good trees and bad trees, and how they can't bring forth, you can't go get off of a thorn bush, you can't go get figs. It's not happening. And we know that the way of the wicked is darkness, right? Let's look at the book of 1 Peter right quick. Because we want to suffer. If we're going to suffer, we're going to suffer for righteousness' sake. We're not going to suffer for our own mistakes. We're going to be circumspect and guard our hearts, right? Let's look at the book of 1 Peter right quick. Salaki. Right. Chapter 4 and verse 16, I believe. Yeah, there you go, 15. It says, let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's matters. Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify the Most High on this behalf. For the time is come, that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High. And if it first begin at us, what shall be the end of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of the Most High commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing, as unto a faithful Creator. You see? And that keeping of their souls is guarding their hearts, guarding their minds. Right? Let's get another precept on that. Because the righteous is suffering and the wicked is suffering. But the righteous is suffering for righteousness' sake. And the wicked, of course, is suffering for their own mistakes. And the Most High is against them. He sets his face against the wicked. Let's bring that out. Matter of fact, the way of the wicked. Right? Okay. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. The way of the wicked is as darkness, and they know not at what they stumble. We brought that out. The righteousness of the perfect shall direct his way, but the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them. The way of the wicked is an abomination to the Most High, but he loveth him that followeth after righteousness. So, with that, I hope you brothers were edified. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Constantly endure, men of Israel. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings, and the blessing of election be on your house of the elect. Shalom.